Welcome you now to another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. I'm your host, Crispin Valentin. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. You have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Like this truly remarkable, amazing story by Isabel Cable. She is the Vice President of Member Relationships here in the Worth Hispanic Chamber, the space where we are today. Not to mention, she is an immigrant, came all the way from Guatemala, learned the language, joined and became a leader and continues to be a leader and a leader in the community that is meaningful and empowering our comunidad, which is the Latino community. And now to the episode. Isabel, hola.
Hola.
I haven't seen you in forever.
I know.
Just kidding. Man, I met you, I think it's almost 2 years ago.
Yes.
And ever since I've known you, you're just truly a remarkable individual, just getting to know you more of in the chamber. So I love it. I had to have you one of these days, and here we are. So gracias.
I can actually tell you when was the first day that we met. It was Accelerate Fort Worth, and it was the first Coffee with the Chamber that I ever attended. And you were with your boss or former boss, Paul. That's how clearly I remember when I met you.
Wow.
You introduced yourself, you introduced me to your boss, and you said, hey, I want to get connected with the chamber. What can I do in order to be more involved? And that's the day that our relationship started.
Amazing. Very detailed, because I can remember. I remember the day at Accelerate for Work and how smaller it was compared to these days, which we're going to talk about that a whole lot more. But before we get started, we're going to start with a segment that I like to call Preguntas al Chile. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. Do not hesitate. We're doing amazing work here. We're spotlighting some amazing powerful individuals in the community, and the only way to find them is to subscribe and join the community. ¿Estás lista, Isabel?
Estoy lista.
¿Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
¿Corn tortilla o flour tortilla?
Definitivamente corn tortilla.
¿Arepas o pupusas?
Pupusas, 100%.
¿Jarritos? What flavor?
I'm sorry, but I have to say barrilitos y apple.
Apple. Barrilito de apple. Okay.
Barrilitos y apple.
¿Agua de horchata, jamaica o tamarindo?
Jamaica.
¿Salsa verde o salsa roja?
Salsa verde.
Ok, ahora sí voy a llegar a lo que es...
Lo mero.
Guatemalteco y lo que es chino.
Ok, dale.
¿Pepián o caquish?
Pepián.
Ajá.
Definitivamente.
¿Qué es exactamente el pepián? Para gente que no sabe platillo guatemalteco, que es de Guatemala, ¿qué es?
Fíjate que no sé, pero sabe rico.
Está rico. Ustedes para
Está rico. Es que la diferencia es que el caquic viene de una región y es picante y es con pavo.
Okay.
Entonces me gusta más el pepián porque a pesar de que también tiene una salsa hecha de diferentes chiles, no pica y tiene vegetales un poquito diferentes y tiene pollo.
Okay. Me encanta porque igualmente como en México, en regiones, el norte o el sur, dentro de diferentes regiones de Guatemala, igualmente los platillos son diferentes.
Correcto.
Aunque a lo mejor tienen el mismo nombre.
Correcto,
Okay.
correcto.
Excelente. Ok, continuamos con Jacob o hilachas.
Hilachas, 100%. De hecho, son las favoritas de mi hijo.
Ok. ¿Qué son hilachas?
Es carne deshebrada de res con papa, ejote y zanahoria.
Tradicionalmente, ¿no?
Correcto. Y la salsa, en lugar del pepián, la salsa es cafecita, la salsa de las hilachas es rojita.
Excelente. Suena delicioso. Ya es hora del lunch ahorita. ¿Fiambre o tamales?
Tamales 100%. Fiambre, no.
Recuérdame una vez al respecto de los tamales guatemaltecos.
La diferencia principal es que la hoja no es hoja de corn, sino es hoja de plátano.
¿Sabes que empezamos a hablar en español? We're supposed to do this in English. Yeah, some of y'all know. Okay, so the corn, The leaf is banana.
Banana leaf
Banana
instead of
leaf.
corn leaf. Yes.
And to my understanding, a tamal desde Guatemala is a whole lot bigger.
Yes,
And
it
can
is
be-
like this size, basically.
Okay, so she's holding almost like half of a football size.
Pretty much. It's basically half of the tablet.
My tablet, which is like a mini one for the iPad. And then, to my understanding, you can make it with regular masa corn, or you can make it with rice.
Yes, rice. And culturally, making it out of rice is much more difficult than just doing the regular corn.
Really? So is it a longer process?
It is a longer process. It is a more complex process. Not everybody can do it properly.
Oh, wow. Neat. It's como like Mexicans, the tamales or the mole.
Correct.
Like, not everybody can make it.
Correct.
This is a lot of work. Okay, continuamos con, we continue with chuchitos or paches.
That's a tough one, and I will go with chuchitos. Now, chuchitos is our version of the Mexican tamales.
Really?
So it is with a corn husk. They are smaller. They are more concentrated, and the salsa is not spicy. But it's very similar to the Mexican tamales.
Nice. Awesome. If you didn't know. Okay, now we're going to go into your Asian roots. Fried rice or chow mein?
Definitely fried rice.
Okay. Dumplings or wonton soup?
Neither.
Neither one?
No.
Ni uno de los dos.
No.
Okay. Tell me, I know you grew up in both third generation Chinese, Guatemalan. Is there a particular fusion that your grandma or your mom kind of sort of made that brought all those cultures together in a dish?
Great question. Not necessarily on a dish, but it was very common to go and visit my grandma and my grandpa and find the weird dishes. When you're a child, duck is a weird dish. Anything with mushrooms is weird, so those type of things were different, and that's what I grew up, like seeing in the table at my grandma's house.
Okay. Without explaining too much, because people are weird about things in general. That was some of the things that you saw in your kitchen based on culturally because they were here, right? Did it make you feel any, I know we'll talk about the bullying here. Was that part of it? Because kind of sort of you were just a little different culturally based on your bringing in your roots, or not necessarily?
No, the truth of the matter is that in Guatemala, it is very common to have a fusion of Asian in the culture. Asian coming from China or Asian coming from Korea. So both of them are heavily present in our culture. So it wasn't from the kid perspective, from the school perspective odd. It was just that as a child, you don't understand. It just looks weird and you don't want to eat it. So, and in Guatemala, because of the strong presence of the Asian culture, it's easy for you to be called a la chinita,
Wow. Very often it's a nickname, la chinita.
Yep. And so I was used to being called at school la chinita.
Okay. So what is a very traditional dish for you that people would definitely need to try that is a Guatemalan dish? Anything stands out for you?
Los tamales.
Los tamales? The Guatemalan tamales?
Oh, yes. The Guatemalan tamales.
And then as far as Asian food that you grew up with that people need to try it, any dish specifically para ti?
No, just the fried rice. But, I mean, you can find it in, beef chang.
Pretty close. Valentina Tabasco or Cholula hot sauce?
Ninguna.
None.
Oh, no.
Do you have any one?
Guatemalans are crying babies. Like, salt is spicy to me. That's the... Yeah, we don't do much with... I mean, there's people that do, like, spicy stuff in Guatemala, but really, traditionally, none of the dishes are cooked with a heavy presence of spiciness.
Us Mexicans have something else. We're built differently when it comes to that.
No, we're crying babies. So
that's funny. No, it's to each their own. Definitely. Again, Mexican was at least for me, it's always been the spicy to this day. I'm thinking about it, just makes my mouth watery just because it's so awesome for me.
Now, weirdly enough, I learned how to eat spicy here, and especially after my last baby, it was a craving weird. It was a craving, and now I can't have tacos without the salsita.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Okay, when you want to celebrate something, let's say an accomplishment, let's say Coffee with the Chamber broke an amount of number presence records, do you like to dance bachata, cumbia, or merengue, or anything else in addition to those?
all of the above.
Todas.
Todas.
The same place.
Vámonos con Olga Tañón, vámonos con todo,
Yeah.
todo.
Awesome. Okay, so when you hear the word Latino or Latina, I know we're in the Hispanic Chamber, but in general, when you hear the word Latino, Latina, what is the very first thing that comes to mind for you?
The music.
The music? Okay. And do you consider yourself Latina? Do you care if anybody calls you Latina? Do you prefer from being Guatemalan or for the Guatemala, anything like that for you?
No, it really, the term Hispanic or Latino, it really doesn't make a difference for me. It doesn't have an impact. However, what does matter to me is that people have the curiosity of asking me where I am from, instead of assuming that just because I have brown skin that I am from Mexico. And don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with being Mexican. In fact, most of my best friends, family, like that I consider close family members, are from Mexico. I adore them, but it's just from a respectful side, of things, that don't assume that just because, all of us are brown skin, that, there are no Colombians, there are no people from Venezuela, there are no people from, any of the Central American countries,
True that. Yeah, that's very neat because it does happen often out and about in Fort Worth or anywhere in the world, at least in the U.S. for sure. Okay, before we get started with getting to know a little bit of your story, tell us a little bit about where we're at, the space, and if anybody's a member, how can they be able to access this space right here?
Great question. So, y'all, this is one of the best resources that we have at the Chamber to offer, and it's one of the ones that is heavily underutilized. So when you think about having a business, marketing is expensive. It's one of the things that will eat your budget first. And it's simply because if you don't promote yourself, if you don't promote the business, then the business is not going to grow, right? So this space is created specifically for that. If you want to do a recording of yourself, if you want to do a podcast, to talk about the different things and your point of view of things and the story behind your business, if you want to do a quick shot for Instagram, social media, this is the space to do that. That includes the use of the cameras, the console, the microphones, the space itself, as long as you want to use it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us today. Usually we're in our studio, but we happen to be a Coffee with the Chamber, and I'm like, let's just set something up here. We haven't done what we talked about it.
Yeah.
So I think I recorded a little video almost a year ago. I'm like, it's been that long since we actually utilize the space. So thank you. Okay, so let's get to know you as far as a little bit of your story. Of course, we're gonna have a limited time, so I can't get to know everything about you because I know your story is magnificent. But let's take it back all the way to growing up in Guatemala. ¿Qué área específicamente? What area?
The city.
The city, Guatemala City, right?
Correct.
So when you're there, it's not a smaller town; it's a bigger city, and you have like barrios or neighborhoods.
Exactly.
What do you call them over there when you're growing up?
No, exactly, barrios, and it feels very similar to Fort Worth, with like the main avenues that everybody knows, that the popular areas to go shop or have a good time, the areas that are underrepresented or underserved or, in poverty, the areas that you say, man, there's money here. Maybe that's why I relate so much and so closely to Fort Worth, because it really reminds me home.
It reminds you of the actual city where you grew up at.
Yes.
So you grew up, take me back to your abuelita's gathering on a Sunday. That was a very staple moment in you growing up, right? What does that take, whenever you think about that, what does it make you feel whenever you're there, living those moments at that time?
Family.
Family?
Definitely family. The warmth, the sense of belonging. And I think that's one of the most important values that I have, making everybody feel a part of something. Because I remember walking into my grandma's house and finding my primos, my tias there, and feeling that I was a part of something, that I was belonging. And now living here in the U.S., and really not having a single family member, excepting my in-laws and of course my husband and my kids, I miss that. And that's why I try to create the spaces and I try to form the relationships and the community that makes me feel that I belong.
When did you started to having those kinds of thoughts that was happening as far as you belonging to something compared to not and being away from it? Did you ever remember like, oh my goodness, this is family, this is a community? You remember any of that coming to light at one point or another for you?
Yes, it happened when I moved to the U.S. I struggled the first 3 years of living here. Because here's the truth. When you are in it, when you are having it, you don't miss it because you do not
take it for
know
granted.
exactly. You do not know what is not to have it. But once all of a sudden you are removed from that environment and you're brought into something where you don't have those close connections, you begin to miss it and you begin to value it and you begin to see it in a different light. What was it, that made it so special? What was it, that made me feel that I was feeling at home? And again, it was that sense of belonging.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as far as a person in Guatemala City, going to school as a kid, how does that look to you? Do you go to school in the morning, afternoon, and then after that, what happens? Do you like play? Do you get to go to a particular spot? Do you like to hang out? How did that go for you?
That's so interesting. Yes, going to school, it was in the morning, the regular routine of leaving home. My mom used to take us to school, me and my brother, and then we would just come back home, do homework. I was never the popular girl, if that makes sense. I was always feeling that I was different. And so I never had a lot of friends, a lot of like close friends. Not until I was probably like 14 or 15 years that I started having like a best friend. So I would not necessarily go out and hang out with friends or anything like that. I would just stay home most of the time. I felt like I was always different.
Yeah. There's a particular thing that happened to you. I don't know from what year to what year that kids being kids, they don't know any better, but a lot of the times they could be mean or they could say things that are kind of hurtful because they don't know any better. It happened to me when I was got to the U.S. at 11 and trying to learn English, and the same Mexicans or any other ones were like the ones that were making fun of you because you didn't know the language compared to everybody else that was trying to be helpful. It's sad, but it happens. With you, it was a little bit of a bullying, and I don't know if they were even saying words to you because you were fairly slim. And how long did that go for you? And how and where did you find the strength to be like, you know what, this is gonna pass? Because now you're the most popular girl ever here in the chamber, or one of them. But how did that go for you? Was that part? As far as the bullying part, dealing with it and just keeping moving forward, and the most important lesson you learned from it?
Gosh, so growing up was really tough for me because even though my family had means, like my family meaning my mom and my dad had baggage of not having a stable home and being homeless often. So when he marries my mom, the first thing that he does is he buys his first home. But you got to understand context. For him, having a roof on his shoulders was the most important thing. So he was making 500 quetzales and spending on the house 450.
Wow.
So that was really tough. And then immediately after they got married, my mom gets pregnant with my brother. They have my brother, and in an immediate succession, they have me. My dad was working in the military, so of course, with every rank that he, moves up in the ladder, he gets more money. And instead of saying, well, now we're feeling more comfortable financially, he starts investing in properties. And so first it was one house, then it was another house, then it was land, and then another piece of land, and then another house. And we would stay with the same slim budget.
Mm.
So as a kid, you do not understand that what my dad was doing was building generational wealth.
Right.
With the houses.
Mm-hmm.
You don't go to school and you say, oh, I have 3 houses and 4 pieces of land. No kid understands.
The new shoes, the new clothes.
Exactly. So think about it. What that did to me is that it limited the resources that my parents could have for the basic needs, such as food, clothes, and, looking presentable.
Mm-hmm.
So kids pick up on that like this. So I'd say from when I was probably 9 all the way until I was perhaps 16 or 17, I was heavily bullied on multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
1, because I was very slim. I have always been skinny. 2, because my hair would always be very brittle and damaged.
Your hair looks beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. It, comes with baggage.
Just acknowledge that your hair looked amazing.
And because of the clothes that I would be wearing. And so food, the way that I look and the way that I dress to this day is really important because of the pain, the heartache that I went through. And to this day, my husband knows this, that there is not enough amount of clothes that I can own because you are still like trying to heal those wounds that were deep when you were growing up,
Absolutely.
So it was really hard. Now, of course, I understand that I will always be skinny and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're so skinny. Well, that was not always a good thing. So it's wounds that you learn to live with. But now looking back, 2 things happen. Number 1, I will never judge somebody on the way that person looks. I will only judge somebody on the way that person values or does not value another human being. That's extremely important to me. Number 2, instilling in my kids the ability to be kind and to extend kindness is extremely important. I'm going to tell you to what extent.
Mm-hmm.
My son, I have a son, he's 17 years old. And one random day, I discovered that he opened an Instagram account against, our wishes. And so when we start looking at the Instagram account, we go into the messages sent, and we see that he has probably about 25 to 50 memes that are not kind. Oof. That hurt that value of you shall be kind to every single human being that you come across.
Right.
So took a deep breath and thought through the situation. And instead of going and yelling at him, I wanted to teach him a lesson. And the lesson was, it takes 3 times longer to spread kindness than to go ahead and send a quick, awful meme. And so I sat him down and I told him that he needed to write 300 kind letters and deliver them to strangers. And I don't know if this story sounds familiar because he sat down for about 3 weeks because, of course, he didn't want to do it. Of course, he's a 17-year-old and he does not want to do it.
Of course.
So he does it, and he does it awfully. So then I make him repeat it because he shall not spread kindness halfway through. So he repeated all the letters, and then I made him put make them nicer, make them look better. And then I took him to Coffee with the Chamber. And I made him hand deliver every single one of those letters that he wrote. You wouldn't believe the lesson that he learned from that exercise.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden, I start receiving messages from all kinds of people, friends, chamber members, and non-members as well, saying that was one of the most thoughtful things that they had experienced at an event. And then all of a sudden I start like sharing with him, look at this message, look at this message, look at this message. So imagine the lesson that I taught him. One of those messages was from one of our members telling me that that day in particular, he was having a really tough day.
Yeah.
And he decided to push through and come to Coffee with the Chamber, not knowing what he was going to encounter. And it was an encouragement letter, a letter of kindness, written by my son, who was being taught a lesson to be kind.
Yeah. Amazing. Now, I know the backstory behind it, but sometimes you don't know what people are going through at all whatsoever during their day. And you don't know if what it took to get to wherever, the Coffee with the Chamber and things like that. So whenever they receive with something like that, kindness, I mean, I can only imagine how impactful it is to be able just to, like, nobody's telling them nothing. They might be want to private and not say nothing, and all of a sudden they get something that hits them, like, and then corazon, right on the heart. And all of a sudden they know they're not alone. They know they got other people there being kind, and they can push forward.
It goes back into that, you belong here. This chamber is for you. Because we see you, because we listen to you, because we truly want to connect on a personal level, and because we want to help you wherever you are. If you are just waking up today with, the epiphany that you want to open a business, we want to help you. But if you have been in business for 5-10 years and you are feeling that you are ready for the next step, we want to help you. We want to make sure that you are fitting right in as, you belong here.
Absolutely. Okay, let's continue. So school, you go through school. I don't know if there's college at Guatemala is where you actually attended to, right?
Correct.
And your studies were?
In hospitality.
Hospitality. Okay. Is that because that's what the line of business is represented in Guatemala, or what was your idea of what did you want to go?
Yes and no. I remember the conversation with one, the cousin of a cousin of a cousin of a cousin, and she was talking about being a receptionist at a hotel and what she had to do, and I just started envisioning, and I was like, man, that sounds so cool. Like being a receptionist, in the reception and at this like fancy hotel. That sounds like really cool. And so from that moment, I got the seed planted that I wanted to be in the hospitality world. The second largest revenue or economic, I want to say like revenue for Guatemala is in tourism. And so there is a lot of opportunity. There is a lot of potential there. And there was a private school that offered the career. So that's what I pursued. Now I know, hindsight 2020, it's not necessarily the hotel or the restaurant that I like. It's the customer service aspect of it. That's what I enjoy the most.
Okay. So your English, was that where you kind of learned English, or where was it? Because it's really good.
Thank you.
Being born in Guatemala, what year did you get to the U.S.?
I made it here in 2012.
2012. So how old were you at that time?
Gosh, great question. I think I was 24.
24. So yes, I remember saying that at 24. So you already had your degree and everything whenever you get to here. Okay. But the hospitality is where like you kind of sort of, the light bulb went off, like, that's what I like. That's what I enjoy doing. Okay. So for somebody from Guatemala to make it to the U.S., how does that happen? Like, for example, me, I was born in Mexico, I crossed illegally across the river. I'm good now. FYI. ICE. Veteran too. So, that's what happened until my parents, by way of a tanda, paid for us to get legal and be able to have our residency onto our citizenship eventually, right? That's my story. How does somebody from Guatemala get to make it to the U.S.? How does that process go for getting access to the American dream?
So, interestingly enough, moving into the U.S. or migrating per se in my family was never a part of the conversation, ever. It was never the American dream. It was never like, let's go and pursue the better life. My family in Guatemala is actually well off. And so it was never part of any of the talks that we would have. So if you were to ask me 20 years ago that I was going to be living here, I would have like laughed in your face
Mm.
because it was never part of, something that we would talk. And it just happened that, it was, I guess, written in my destiny. As part of my major, I had to do 600 hours of an internship. And one random day, I just got the epiphany in my head. What if I were to do the 600 hours of an internship at Disney World? Like, man, that would be so cool, right?
Right.
What I didn't know is that exactly in that moment, my school was closing a deal with Disney World to be a part of the Disney International College program.
Wow.
Exactly in that moment. And so we applied. You have to go through the application process. You have to go through an interview. So the recruiters from Disney go and meet you there. And if you get accepted, then, you get your letter.
Mm-hmm.
You apply for a J-1A visa. And that allows you to come here to the U.S. and take some classes. So go to school here and work at Disney. So that's how I made it here initially. Now, here, I think most of the audience might know my story where, at Disney, I was like on my second or third week maybe in the program when I took a bus. I sat next to my husband. I started talking about, my life in Guatemala.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden we started dating. And before I went back to Guatemala, he proposed on the beach, ring and the whole thing.
Ring and the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to go back.
So I had to go back because I came with a J-1A visa. And so with a J-1A visa, the restriction that they put is that you have to go back to your country for 2 full years. You cannot request any other visa for 2 years because the situation is that you have to go and replicate and bring back what you learned here in the U.S. back to your country to help boost the economy.
Okay.
So for 2 years, I could not get married. I mean, I could, but I would not be eligible to apply for anything. So the first year, my husband was finishing his school at Texas Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So we were traveling back and forth. The second year, he moved to Guatemala. And then I was like, aquí me lo agarro.
I'm keeping him here.
Yes. So, that moment, I was like, okay, let me see if he would stay here because I don't want to live in the U.S. That's what I thought.
Mm.
And maybe he can be a part of my family. So he got a job there. He moved there. We were having an apartment, all the things. And after a year, one day, he literally woke up and he said, Texas or nothing.
Mm.
That day, he bought a plane ticket. 2 days later, he was back in the U.S. And so I had to make the tough decision of like, okay, what are we doing? But even then, I was like, okay, tengo tiempo. Like I have some time to like think and process all of this. Maybe he will come back. And so the story is that I came to visit in November for Thanksgiving and spend Christmas with him.
Mm-hmm.
Then during that short period of time, we decided to get married. And then before I went back to Guatemala, I had my apartment, my car, my job, everything.
Right.
And 2 days before I had to go back to Guatemala, we decided to go and see a lawyer. And just to find out information about what is going to cost us, how long is the process going to take.
Yeah.
He sits us down and he says, you just got married, which means that you can no longer come back with a tourist visa, which is what you enter the U.S. with. Because you would be lying. You would be lying on the grounds that you do not have a direct relative here in the U.S. Now you do. You have your spouse. So what you need to do is you go back to Guatemala and you apply for the residency, but because you are living separate, the process is going to take you 3 times longer and it's going to be more expensive.
Mm.
Or you can just stay here right now. But think about it. I have my job, I have my apartment, I have my life, and I never said goodbye to my family.
Mm.
And so we made the tough call and decided to stay.
When you're going through the processing that, as far as not going back, properly saying goodbye like we love to do, because sometimes it takes us 2 hours to say goodbye. How does that feel for you?
Oh my gosh, it's so tough. because I never saw my grandpa again. So we started the process of applying for the residency. And while you are in that process, until you get your documents back, you cannot leave the country.
Right.
And he passed away.
I'm very sorry for your loss.
He passed away exactly during that time, and I never saw him again.
Right.
He's my Chinese grandpa, and he's that, like, the core of the family. And all of a sudden, he gets, really sick. And 3 days later, he passes away. And it was really, really hard. But those are the things that as an immigrant, you don't get the choice, you don't get the chance, you don't get the opportunity to be there with your family when those tough moments happen. You get disconnected from the family, and little by little, I talk to my mom about this often, and with my sister, and I have to be really careful. Sometimes something is happening with my family, and I just simply feel disengaged. I don't engage in the same way, or I'm like, oh, yeah, that's happening. But really, you don't become emotionally attached because
Why?
So hard.
Why? For the same reason that it's difficult?
It is so hard. You can't be here and have full emotions into what is going on there.
Yeah.
You can't. You have to feel disengaged. Otherwise, you would have a miserable life because you can't be there. Yes, I am 3 hours away on a plane. Yes, I can take $1,000 airfare ticket to get to Guatemala in 3 hours. But really, my life is here now. And so you can be in two places at the same time.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's really hard.
And there's a lot of immigrant stories, the same thing, that, their loved ones, even though things are going on over there, what much can you do? Maybe financially support, but that's like really much. There's really not much more you can do. Especially you can't even come back either.
And here's the truth. It's not that you want to be heartless. It's not that you don't have feelings and emotions for your loved ones where they are. It's that emotionally you cannot live, with that. It's so hard to live. I mean, literally, I was getting into tears just thinking about that. You can't. It's extremely difficult.
Yeah, you have to find a way to cope without realizing that, not heartless, but distance yourself, but still being there some way, somehow for your family, even though you can't be there wherever they're at. So, yeah, I can see it. I mean, yeah, a lot of immigrants and a lot of us go through the same thing.
And imagine, I have the luxury of saying, oh, I buy a flight ticket and I go. What happens to those Hispanics, wherever they are from, that cannot go and visit?
Yeah.
That must be extremely hard.
It's extremely difficult. And a lot of those things don't get brought up whenever there's an issue about resolving immigration, of the human element of those things that people get to go through, losing loved ones, and they can't go bury them.
They never get to see them again.
They're not going to see them again. They can't bury them at all because they're not able to leave. So thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so now you're here in the U.S., 24. You decide to stay. Are you able to work? You're not able to work?
So we applied for the visa, or the residency. It is extremely expensive. Y'all, whoever says that the process is like a breeze, you do not know what you're talking about. It is very expensive, considering that you are not working and producing money. But all of a sudden, you have to pay all of these fees. If you hire a lawyer, it is very expensive. If you pay the government fees, it is even more expensive. So all of a sudden, my husband and I had to front, I think, like $9,000 in between lawyer fees, my residency fee, and my son's fee. Because by this point in time, David is here, he's 4.5, and, it's 2 people applying. Also, what people don't talk about is that you need a sponsor. It's not just like, oh, let's go ahead and apply. No. You need a sponsor. A sponsor that, if in the process that you are a temporary or permanent resident, you go to the government to request assistance, the government is going to tell you, yes, I'm going to give you the assistance, and turn around and go to your sponsor and charge your sponsor for that assistance. So whoever thinks that we just come here and take, that's not the case. My father-in-law had to turn in papers this thick, showing over and over and over that he had the financial capacity to support us, shall we have to, need financial assistance.
But what do you mean, Isabel? They got to do it the right way. It's not that hard.
Nobody talks about that sponsor.
Right.
And it's,
Right.
It's frustrating because we have to jump all these hoops and loops financially, emotionally. It is hard. And all we want is to contribute to the society. All we want is to be useful. All we want is to have that sense of belonging here and to be embraced by this country. We just want an opportunity.
Absolutely. So finally, the residency does come through. You get it?
Yes.
And then you start working at the call center, or is it a different place?
I started working at El Rio Grande, which is a Mexican grocery store.
Grocery store.
I worked for about 8 months at the corporate office in Dallas, in the kind family, very, very kind family, but I didn't have any benefits. And
with kids, you need to have benefits.
I did not have vacations. I did not have insurance. I did not have anything other than, my day-to-day. And again, don't get me wrong, very kind family. To this day, I am so grateful because they gave me my first shot. Y'all, if you are coming in here with experience from your countries, in whatever country in Latin America, with your degree, you come in here thinking, man, I'm so valuable to the society. And you are so wrong because you don't have a network, a referral, studies that can be, verified here in the U.S. or a job that can be verified here in the U.S.
So you could be a doctor, but you're starting from zero.
You're starting from zero, to the point that I literally started from zero, taking the first job that could give me an opportunity to start generating income. So I took the job. I was making $12 an hour.
Wow.
No benefits of any kind. And driving, all the way from Grapevine to Dallas, it was like a really far drive every single day.
Yeah.
But they gave me my first opportunity. And then after that, I continued looking because I wanted at least benefits. And that's where I found Uline.
So Uline, you spent a good amount of time
10
there,
years.
right? At that time, are you already kind of sort of thinking about leadership at that moment, or you are? Where does that spawn from? Where does that come from as far as going into a new job and then that you want to get into the leadership roles?
So I was already in a leadership role in Guatemala. I was already managing the customer service department for an institution. Interestingly enough, it's a nonprofit organization that does exactly the same thing that we do at the chamber, just backwards. It is bringing the American culture into Guatemala. And now I bring the Hispanic culture into the U.S.
Full circle moment.
Full circle, legit. Full circle moment. And I'm basically doing the same thing because over there I was just managing the customer service department. I had already 15 people under my department. And so I knew that I wanted to be in leadership. But as I was trying to apply for different opportunities, no doors were being opened to me. So I told my husband, I remember having this conversation, and I said, I'm going to apply, and I know I will have to start from zero. But I want to go to an organization where I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. And legit, I remember my interview, and that is exactly what I said. If you give me the chance, I promise you I will be patient. And I promise you I will work really hard. But I need to know with certainty that I have a pathway forward in order to make it to leadership. And so I remember going to that interview, and 2 things. I went back home and I told my husband 2 things. I said, number 1, I don't want this job. Number 2, I know that I got this job.
Why did you did not want the job? If
because
that's
it
what
was
you put yourself in a better position at that time.
Because it was a call center job. And because in Guatemala, think about it. Where are the call centers? that serve the United States, where are those call centers known? Guatemala and the Philippines.
India también.
India. And so I knew how tough it was to work at a call center. And I did not want to be, yelled at over the phone, scolded over the phone, be receiving those calls where people were upset. And so that's why I was like, oh. But then they called me. Of course, I got the job. They called me and they start enlisting all of the benefits that the company offered, in addition to a significant raise. So I went from making $12 an hour to making $18.50 an hour. That was a huge, massive jump. What was I going to say?
Yeah.
That was a massive opportunity. So, and it was in a call center. So I went ahead and took my first shot and went. And I had miserable, probably first year. It was very miserable. My English was not good or whatsoever. I remember seeing dumb stuff, and I knew that was not an English word. And just like peeking over my cubicle and seeing if my boss was there, listening to the nonsense that I was saying on the phone. I want to give you an example.
That's hilarious. Okay.
I used to say, so there was a pickup location, and we were doing a change in the pickup location.
Okay.
And I was trying to say over and over that we were closing or restricting the pickup because the areas were congestionated. I said that at least 200 times until somebody had mercy of me and said, honey, you say congested. It's not congestionated.
Were you grateful for that person that kind of sort of like helped you
Yeah,
out?
of course. I felt like absolutely embarrassed. On top of that, I learned that English is spoken in different paces and in different styles depending on who you're speaking with.
Yeah.
Your talk with a Southern person is not the same with your talk with somebody from California or with somebody from New York.
Yeah.
So it is very, very different. But man, that year I grew. It stretched me. It challenged me. But what I learned the most and what I fell in love with on that first year is that we were empowered. I was empowered to solve problems. Right then and there, I did not need to escalate any calls. I could go ahead and find a solution for whatever situation right then and there.
It's your Latino background, being Latino in general, that we have that mindset, that wiring that's different from everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that it's on its own helped me to de-escalate phone calls, helped me to find solutions instead of trying to push the call from one department to another department to another department. But it also gave me that bedside manner into how to de-escalate and how to have sound conversations. But it also gave me the experience of really understanding what are the challenges of a corporate member or of a small business owner that is just getting started. Not knowing that experience was going to help me as I now navigate conversations with all kinds of members, from corporate level all the way to somebody that is just starting a business today.
When did they see that you were somebody that wanted to strive more and put you in a leadership position? Do you remember? Did you see a posting and apply for it? Or
I think they saw it fairly quick because I was very stubborn. No. Yeah. They saw it fairly quickly because I would be the person that would be taking notes constantly all the time, that I was coming in early. I was the first one there. I was the last one there. And that was from day one in training. I was the one who would be asking, can I take my manual home to study? And they would say no. And I was like, oh, I can take it. Okay. It's not a problem. I can go ahead and write the same thing all the way in my notebook, and I will take my notebook home. So I did. And so I would be taking, like basically copying and copying manually, like on my notebook, and taking my notes and going home and studying the website and like reading product descriptions and like really trying to understand, calling literally the call center from my own house. just to see how somebody else would be picking up my phone calls and asking them questions about the products.
Okay, somebody will call you crazy. Another person would say that you were very thorough as far as understanding the product itself to have the confidence to be able to talk to somebody else about it and know they can hear that you know what you're talking about.
When I joined the call center, we had 52 representatives. From the 52 representatives, I was the only one that was an immigrant.
Mm.
That was tough.
Yeah.
That was really hard because I was not able to find somebody that could understand me, where I was coming from. That for lunch, I was bringing frijoles. That, I was bringing lunch. I was not going out to eat.
Mm-hmm.
From everybody that was talking about graduating from college, from TCU and the sororities, I did not understand that because that's not my background. I came from Guatemala. I did schooling in Guatemala.
Even though you have a degree over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so I felt always different. And here's what I usually tell about my story. During the time, I remember seeing everybody being different and feeling like they were steak and I was just rice and beans. And feeling like I wanted so badly to be steak because steak was, fitting in. But then, as I progressed my career, I realized that the rice and beans have the flavor that everybody was needing. They just did not know that they needed it.
If you're vegan, you know, and you understand your pushing more. You can't wait to get some rice and beans instead of the other things. So
exactly
to certain people, you're like exactly what they needed, not the other. You're the most delicate thing ever compared to other stuff.
It's like, and so it taught me that I did not need to be like everybody else. I just needed to embrace who I was because there was something special within me that was important for somebody else.
Who was pushing you to get to that level? Because there's one thing about just thinking about it, and then one thing of personal development to start listening to things to kind of sort of start turning your gears to be able to see like, I'm more than this. I gotta embrace myself, but there's more here. Where did that come from?
First it come from like feeling that there was something there that I like, feeling the need, feeling the gap. In order for you to be ready to receive, you have to understand that there is a gap.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel like your cup is full, you will never be able to like really take in lessons. So understanding and feeling the need and then raising the hand and being humble and vulnerable enough to ask for help. And the help can be in the form of mentors. The help can be in the form of asking questions and being curious. And so I remember my favorite leader to this day is, somebody that groomed me, somebody who saw me and believed in me so early on in my career when I was just a representative and saw the potential in me. He's currently one of the senior managers in Mexico. And he saw me.
What is their name?
His name is Pablo Flores Vasquez.
Pablo Vasquez saw you even as a rep and told you something specifically. What did he tell you?
He sat with me and we were doing a side-by-side where he was listening to my phone calls. And then he told me, you need to have confidence in yourself. You need to believe in yourself. You're very insecure and you need to grow confidence. Mm. And I was like, what do you mean? If I am good as I am, unconfident. but truly, that was a massive lesson because as immigrants, we put all of these roadblocks in front of us. This is not my country. This is not my language. I look different. I don't sound the same. I have a heavy accent. You are the one who is putting all of those things in front of you. Right. And those become roadblocks. And he was seeing that, and what he was telling me was, get over yourself. Get over all of that, because until you are not able to do that, you are not going to be able to put your giftedness at the disposition and at the service of people that need you.
When did the breakthrough come for you? Because at one time you kind of sort of see that you're there. You kind of sort of like Not the confidence, and all of a sudden now you clicking, you shooting in all gears, you're rolling.
Okay, so here goes the story. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, 2014, I start the Uline. 2015, I say, I got this. I'm ready for leadership. I know the product. I know the job. And I apply. And 10 other people apply. I ended up being one of the 2 finalists and selected. And I said, I got this. It's mine. And I did not get it. And it was so hurtful that I did not get it because I could not understand why, having all of this passion for leadership, they did not pick me. So several things.
Did you ask why they didn't pick you?
Yes. And they said it's because I wasn't adaptive enough, which I was like, oh, what do you mean?
Okay.
I want to help people.
I sense a little bit of ego during that time for you, that you feel like you got it, but you have to be humble to be able to grow.
Exactly. So 2 things. Number 1, first thing that was hurtful was the fact that I was in a panel with all the other team leads. I was going to become I was going to become their peer, and they were the ones who said no. It was a panel of 10 team leads, and they said no. And it was really hurtful because I did not know who had said no. Now, keep that in mind because it is extremely important for the story, okay? The second thing is, how is that I was ready and I was not picked? And so I started applying for so many jobs, and I said, screw this, I'm leaving. They do not deserve me, and I'm going to move on. And I applied and applied and applied. And guys, nobody called me. Nobody called me.
I'm taking my talent somewhere else. Oh, wait, nobody wants my talent. What's going on?
And so I remember like 4 months pass, and I'm still like mourning and crying and sobbing over like this missed opportunity. And one of my best friends to this day, Virginia, I go to Muya in Copel, and I'm crying and I'm sobbing, and she looks me in the eye like my friend, and she says, why are you crying? And I'm like, what do you mean why I'm crying? And she's like, if you did not get it, it's because that position was not for you. Period. End of the story. Stop crying. That moment meant everything to me because she was not coddling me anymore. She was giving me a wake-up call that it did not belong to me, and it did not belong to me for a reason. And so instead of crying, what I did is that I started looking for the reason to solve that reason. So I enrolled myself in a lot of courses, one of them being the TCU Adaptive Leader Certificate, where I was here at TCU driving every Tuesday, coming from 6 to 9 p.m. and being surrounded by high-level executives. Now think about it. I was a representative. I was not in leadership, surrounded by a lot of executive-level people and just trying to take everything in from the room. How they think, what they talk about, how they process, what are their questions, how they behave. That's what I was doing. And so I discovered DISC, and I started understanding who I was and why. And I started becoming a ninja on how to read people effectively and groom myself to fit that
John
person.
Maxwell comes along at this time as well? Okay.
That's where John Maxwell comes in. I joined the John Maxwell program. I started reading more about servant leadership. So it's not anymore about the power. It's about the service. And it's about the influence, whether if you have or you do not have the title. And so it was a tremendous year for me. It was a year of transformation, really, because it shifted my mind. And in the process of shifting my mind, everyone around started noticing the change. And you wouldn't believe that in 2016, the position became open again. And nobody applied but me, because everybody knew that that position was going to be for me. And I got it. And so that 2017, I started as a customer service leadership trainee. Then fast forward, 2021 comes in, and I had been in leadership as a team lead. I was the most the team lead with the least experience. Everybody else ahead of me had been in leadership at Uline for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years. Everybody had a ton of experience. I only had, as a team lead, 3 years of experience. And the customer service department manager position becomes available. I apply, and I get the position. And I become the first immigrant that gets one of those 24 positions company-wide.
Wow.
What you wouldn't believe is that I became the boss of those people that one day in that room said no to me. But you know what the coolest part is? That during those 3 years, I humbled myself to learn from them. So by the time that I became their leader, they respected me. And I had influence. And they followed me. Not because I was telling them to follow me, but because they believed in me.
Yeah, there will be more challenging if there was friction in there to be able to move the team forward. You wouldn't be able to do that at that time. Okay. Appreciate the story. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
The chamber opportunity. You're doing great for yourself. Seems like you're in a good trajectory to probably just continue to move forward. Where does the Hispanic Chamber come in your radar as far as even a position or coming? We're talking about, what, 50 years plus of the institution being here. Who tells you about the chamber, and why would you want to see an opportunity about coming in on board?
So that's a great question. So I started getting the itch of something different, something new after being for 10 years in the same organization. And so one night I remember like surfing on LinkedIn, which by the way had like 10 followers. So I had no network or whatsoever. And I had been for 10 years stuck in the same company. So no network, no notion of Fort Worth. But all of a sudden, I see the opportunity of Director of Member Relations at the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I go in and read the job description, and I immediately sent it to my best friend and texted him and said, if I were to get this position, it would be so good for the soul. I apply, and then a couple of days later, I hear about an interview. I get Annette on the phone, and then she interviews me. And I feel like we have a good connection. Then a couple of weeks later, she calls me for an in-person interview. I come into the office. I interview with her. I have a great conversation. And then I ask her, knowing what you know about me and about, my conversation and my experience, what is the one thing that you think that I am going to struggle with? And she says, you're not from Fort Worth. And you don't have a network. And this is a highly visible position. And to this day, I am incredibly grateful to Annette Landeros for believing that somebody that did not have a network, think about it, 10 followers on LinkedIn. And those 10 followers on LinkedIn were from my company.
They're all from the same place.
Yeah. And I did not know nothing about Fort Worth because I have lived in the mid-cities my entire time in the U.S. And somehow she saw potential in me. And she thought that I could do a good job for the chamber.
Did she ever tell you what she saw in you to be able to bring you on board?
Yes, sort of. She saw the customer service aspect. She saw sales experience, but she saw hunger. Because let me tell you, my interview came in, and then I knew that I wanted the job. This one I did want. And so I called, and 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 I called every single day. I called
just
Annette.
A little bit, Terca.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
I pursued it. And she
persistent.
Yes.
Not Terca, persistent.
Determined.
Determined.
And so she said, if this chick is going to pursue and do sales like she's pursuing me right now, I I'm hiring the right person.
Mm.
And so, I got an offer and I accepted.
How does it feel for you? Even this is something you wanted. This is something that you kind of like the management that broke your heart a little bit, came through, you grew into it. All this entire time you're going through, you're going into preparation mode for the role you're about to take that you want. How does it feel when you get it?
It just felt like the perfect fit from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like purposeful. Just felt like mission oriented. But I'm gonna tell you that my first 6 months, I feel like I spent. Yes, we were getting traction, but I feel like I spent my first 6 months leaning on Annette, even when she couldn't see that I was listening and observing and watching and leaning in and asking questions. I was learning from her. I hope that she knows, one, how much I appreciate her, of course, for believing in me and giving me the opportunity of my life, but also how much I learned from her in her time at the chamber. She really poured so much on the development of who I became as I represent the chamber and the brand and the reputation, and as I talk with members, and as I have the empathy to have conversations in the community. And sometimes those conversations are hard, and sometimes it's great, because they're sharing good news for you. But
how you maneuver challenging conversations whenever they come to you and it's really difficult, and how do you maneuver those?
By listening and seeking to understand before I am able to express understanding. Like making sure that I hear, that I really listening, and that I find ways, again, going back to the theme, where they belong here is extremely important to me.
One of the other challenges maybe that Annette might have not seen, but I don't know if you already were in an entrepreneur mindset, because a lot of this is supporting a lot of entrepreneurs. Were you already an entrepreneur? Were you were working on something already?
Yes. So back in 2018, my husband and I opened our first business. And so I remember the challenges of navigating, like the documentation, the paperwork. How do we open the business? How do we do taxes? What do we need to do? We did not have the support system. I wish that I would have found a chamber, or that somebody would have told me, hey, there's a Hispanic chamber. They will help you out. They will get you connected. There is, the support system that you need as you are navigating the first stage of your first year, of your second year, of your third year in business, because each year is feeling different for you, means something different.
And that was the restaurant in the recipe, or what
my
was the
Airbnb.
business? Your Airbnb. So you open up your Airbnb, and then you label yourself what's called a serial entrepreneur, because you have a few of your friends, Maritza and all y'all, talk about how all kinds of businesses you can
Oh
open
my
up.
gosh. Every single day that we see each other is like, I thought about something. It's the Hispanic, the entrepreneurial mindset, where you see potential, where you see possibilities, where you are trying to solve the problem for somebody else.
Was your family at all entrepreneur, or were you the first one ever to do something like an Airbnb and then doing the more things that you're doing currently now?
You know what? I have always been hungry. And I think I have always had that entrepreneurial mindset. I feel like I was the first one who truly adventure herself to invest a ton of money into making and bringing something to life. But I still remember when I was 11, 12, 13, that I started selling chocolates at school. Then I moved into selling cards para los novios at school. Then I moved into selling homework as well. I would be doing homework for somebody else and then selling the homework. So there is always that, that entrepreneurial aspect.
You ever thought about that you were had the entrepreneur heart even as a kid selling chocolate? You already knew it.
Yeah, I always knew it because, again, it comes back from that humble beginning from my parents, that my parents didn't have the money to give me all the flashy things that a kid wants, you know? So I knew that if I wanted something, I was going to have to work really hard to get it.
Okay. So now your official title here at the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber is VP, Vice President.
Of Member Services and Strategic Growth.
Awesome. And now there was a pivot, a moment of time, 6 months passed to now present time. The growth has been amazing. What clicked? What light bulb went off all of a sudden? Like, you got it, and now we're just going full speed ahead with everything that we're doing. We know exactly what we need to do and continue to grow. Not just like it's growing, but we really wanted to grow faster and quicker and make sure that it's meaningful.
I think it's the understanding, the deep understanding of the mission of our organization, and understanding the needs in the community and how I am a catalyst. I am like, the person that is like bringing those two things together. Seeing opportunities where perhaps nobody's seeing opportunities, and how I can highlight and create space for somebody.
Okay, so now as far as like the ambassador program, when I first joined, it's only like 30 people, compared to 60 something plus ambassadors now, and growing. Like every day, there's people that are interested and wanting to be part of it. I know there was real close to the 1,000, or if we broke the 1,000 membership. But
we're getting super close to the 1,000. This month alone, we already have 31 new members. Wow. Just this month alone. So we are really, really gaining a lot of traction, a lot of attention. And it puts a lot of responsibility on you, because now you have to deliver. It's I don't want to say that it's easy, but anybody has a good month, anybody has a good event. But consistently delivering month over month over month, quality of events that bring value to every person that is walking into the doors, and trusting that they are going to find value and a return on investment on their membership. That's the challenge.
Yeah.
It requires accountability for me, but also accountability on the team and accountability on the organization as a whole, to ensure that we are standing behind the mission and the promise that we made to those members that are trusting us.
Yeah, and I can see it. I mean, you have to live it to be able to tell about it and be able to really get the sense of what happens at a Coffee with the Chamber or any event that the Hispanic Chamber puts together, the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber puts together. You really have to be able to be there to be able to see it. Because even the warmness, the sense of belonging, the community aspect, the friendliness of people, all that is just not like we're not here rehearsing it. It just naturally happens, right? Have you noticed that?
Even today, I got feedback from one of our ambassadors, Luis Diaz, and I know that it was Luis. I have somebody that approaches me as they are saying goodbye. They have never been at Coffee with the Chamber. They are one new person that is just testing the waters, and they are like over the moon. They say, we're going to join. This is our business. We want to connect with you. We see a ton of potential and possibilities. But let me tell you, the people that you have greeting, the moment that I was getting closer, he comes and says, "Man, thank you for being here. Your sweater is awesome. You look great." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, like please keep going. Like keep keep the energy and keep the genuinity of the interaction. That makes the difference for people."
Yeah.
But it all starts with how we're crafting the culture of our chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we are running short on time, so plus you have to be going here because you have to do some stuff, so I don't want to keep you
Another event.
Before I let you go, is there any particular questions that you were getting ready to sit with me and talk, like, I wish he asked me about this. I wish we touch up on this particular thing. Is there anything in your mind?
I think the $1 million question that I get often asked is, how do I do it all? Because
her and I talk about it. She
I
got
mean,
kids, your kids married, and she's 1 million Cubs, Hispanic
mhm.
Chamber, and a few other things. And I'm like, I don't know how she does it. Like, I don't know
Attending all
either.
events, like, just yesterday, I was preparing for Coffee with the Chamber. I knew that it was going to be a great event, but a lot of responsibility on the preparation. But then immediately after, switch gears, go and support one of our corporate partners, the Dallas Mavericks. Uh, you know, Game ended up really late, made it home at midnight. This
Mm.
morning, I woke up at 4 to get ready for Coffee with the Chamber, send a couple of things, review registration, get there by 7, set up, be with you, followed by, going to an important gala this evening. Then, tomorrow, meeting with my mentor, going and supporting another nonprofit, Sunday, being here for Cowtown Marathon, like all the things.
Yeah, how do you do it?
So,
Tell us, por favor.
so a couple of things. Having a support system is extremely important,
Mhm.
and I am incredibly grateful to my husband for understanding what is important to me and for supporting that. Um, I am very grateful because when I am not present at home, he makes sure that he's double present
Mhm.
for the kids. Sobbing and making sure that he's taking them to doctor's appointments, tending to their needs, reviewing homework with our senior kid, all the things. But also like being really grounded on why I do what I do. It's not just to do one more event. It's not just to, put one more photo. It's because it matters. It brings value to the community. You never know when you're going to cross the path of somebody and you can change that person's life. And I don't say that from an ego perspective. I just say that humbly because one introduction, one interaction,
Mhm.
one word of kindness can change somebody's day. And so that is extremely important to me. I try to the best of my ability to be present with everybody and try to give them at least one moment of my attention by responding a text message, a WhatsApp, by following up on a phone call, by responding to emails. Although, guys, I'm sorry, I'm very behind on my emails. I will admit that.
Give her time.
Yes, but it is extremely important. What I do for the community matters to me on a personal level. It's not a job.
Is that where at times when you're not haven't got the sleep that you would like to get, and you would the importance of it, and that's
Mhm,
the kind of like the fuel of to like, even if
mhm,
you're running on 4 hours of sleep, it's nothing, because this is just what's driving you. This is
mhm,
just what kind of gives you the energy, the pump that you need to be able to continue.
mhm. Think
Awesome.
about just last night, waking up this morning like, oh, the Lord knows that I am not an early person. I can promise you that. But thinking about how many opportunities, how many businesses could get connected today, how many partnerships could happen today just by creating the ecosystem and the
Yeah.
experience for people to come in together.
You definitely, I know you got the cafecito, but you definitely fool me as far as not being a morning person, because as soon as we see you, hola, immediately. And I'm like, wow, she's already up and running. Before I let you go, all your social media, LinkedIn, or wherever people you want to connect with you, and any other projects that you have going on, whether for the chamber or you personally.
So I think everybody knows, one, how much I love Fort Worth, but two, how much I absolutely love nonprofits. It is in my heart to support nonprofits because they are the ones who are in return supporting the entire community of underrepresented families, whatever
Mhm.
it is, health, housing, business like the chamber, family education, whatever it is, they are the backbone of our city. So supporting nonprofits is truly a passion of mine. More to come on that. More things to come on that. I have projects, on the door that I cannot speak about yet, but lots of great projects in the near future. Um, but also just being available to everybody here in the chamber and outside of the chamber. I'm heavy on LinkedIn, so if you want to connect with me, uh, contact me on LinkedIn, and I promise you the first thing that I will do is give you my cell phone. You have access. The access is one thing that I can never, deny to anybody. And if you want to have a conversation with me, chat with me, go for coffee. I mean, coffee. I mean, It's the
And it's
language.
Isabel Cable. It's where they can find
Mhm,
you on social
mhm.
media and LinkedIn también.
Correct,
Cable.
correct.
Cable. Isabel
Cable.
Cable.
Don't send me Facebook messages, y'all. I suck at Facebook messages, but LinkedIn, I am always there.
Okay. Saludos. Any saludos to anybody in your life, in the community in general?
To every single one, FWHC ambassador, you guys truly make this job the most rewarding job. I'm humbled and I'm grateful for serving alongside you. You mean the whole world to me.
Over here, wearing my hand. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At a state of the chamber, it was a neat thing that you did when you brought us all. It got really emotional for a moment at a time, because it just shows how much you appreciate other people's. Because most of it, all of us are volunteer, except for that. We just want to. I think all of us are infected of the work that you do, and it helps us want to help and help you out as best possible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a nice infection.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
I love our ambassadors. They truly are the greatest and most amazing people in the community.
What is an important lesson that you learned doing what you currently do that you would tell your younger self that will help somebody else out? What would that be?
Don't be afraid of being rice and beans. People will love you for being rice and beans. And the
Especially vegans.
best, just focus on your flavor and then enhance the flavor,
Especially vegans.
especially vegans.
I usually throughout my day, sometime during my week, month, I say something along those lines that I heard a long time ago, but I liked it. I'm not immortal. I am mortal, and I will die one day. Not to scare me, terrorize me, anything like that, or bring anything upon me, but it's just a reality of life. We're not here forever. With that, I wish you a very long, prosperous life. After everything's said and done, what do you want people to think and feel about your life?
That it meant something to somebody. That because one interaction, they were able to change the course of something that was happening in their life. That I left something in their hearts that inspired them to do something different in a good way.
You think what currently you're doing is somewhat of your calling?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely very purposeful and again, I'm grateful to the Fort Worth Hispanic Chamber of Commerce for giving me this opportunity for being able to perform this role. Um, it is an honor to serve as the vice president of member services and strategic growth at the chamber at this time during this period in our society. It is a tremendous honor.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see anybody else doing that. Of course, eventually, things gotta move on, but you're an amazing representation as far as the first. It's neat to be able to know that you remember the specific moment that we connected, and I was willing to just trying to do my part, and I kind of sort of figure out the reason why I do the things that I do. Just learning about myself more as to why I'm so heavily involved and why I want to be able to do this with no expectation of anything whatsoever, except for making sure that the community is taken care of. There are people are moving forward and doing whatever it is that they're doing, because it's very essential that some people don't realize how essential it is to be able to have that support for business entrepreneurs, that they have a dream. At one time, you had this little girl that had oh wow, it could be neat to be a receptionist, and that was your limitation of your dreams to now the things that you do. It's just remarkable as far as what you do now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that, and the thing that you continuously just keep growing. And I know we didn't touch up on it, and I'm truly sorry for your loss of your father. I know he was fairly young. I know he worked a lot, and I'm not trying to speak with him, but if I had a daughter that did the things that you do with the passion that you do, I would highly be super, super, super proud of you of the things that you do, and no doubt that he's looking and seeing the work that you are doing consistently with the purest of intentions of your heart, and continue to move our community forward. So I highly appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Crispin. It means the whole world to me. I think about him often. Um, I really think about him often and the legacy that he left and the work ethic that he instilled in me, so early on. Um, so yeah, it's very meaningful. By the way, I took the same thing. I own homes. So
Yeah.
I have 3 houses. I inherited that from him. And, I from my siblings, I think I'm the one that resembles the most of him.
And to all the kids back in the days, but she's the most popular person pretty much in forward, just about. I know every
Just a
single one,
humble servant.
everybody in the full Hispanic Chamber, don't get hurt, but all of them are super very popular in regards to people wanting to talk to you, having to be near you, want to be close to you because they just feel the sense of something special, and then it's contagious, and they want to just do great things for other people. So it's a feeling. I can't really describe it. I don't know how to articulate the wording, but I can sense the feeling and the emotion anytime it happens. So all of y'all.
Oh,
And
thank you.
she's very popular, by the way, here in the forward area, in a very short amount of time as well. So gracias.
You are so welcome.
This was another episode of the Global Latin Factor podcast. Remember to subscribe right now. Once again, you have amazing stories that you can tap in, learn today, grow as a person, get involved with the community as well. Join the community of the Global Latin Factor podcast. And remember, we are just like you. We are humans. We are people. We are the spice and flavor in this melting pot that is the world. Till next time.